This is the Texas Chainsaw Sky De Lacrimosa, and I am drinking at Moe's.
This is Drinkin at Moe's, where we talk about the pros of pro wrestling in the Midwest while sipping on some brews with blessed beers and wrestling. That's my scene. Death matches and lucha libre, it's all so mean. I'm a straight up smart goofball, not no kiss ass. I stand tall when it comes to wrestling. I'm the king. I know every move, every fling. Get ready for a wild time with Drinkin at Moe's, where we don't quit. Drinkin at Moe's, that's where it's at, like a power bomb. We hit hard, never flat. Fucking right, we're living the dream. Talking about wrestling, oh it's a scream.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkin' Mo's be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're filling out your order, use the code Drinkin' at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. All right, everybody, and welcome Drinkin' at Moe's. Big Mo here. You know the drill by now. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. Because YouTube's algorithm is a pain in the ass for most places you can find audio podcasts too. Today, I'm excited to have with me another talent out of MPX down in Texas, Sky De Lacrimosa. Hopefully I got that right.
That's pretty much it. It's Sky De Lacrimosa. Lacrimosa like the movies.
All right. Yeah, I'm excited because, you know, before we get too far into it, I'll have my question I normally start everybody off with, but MPX has been rather good to me. You know, I've ran into Matthew Palmer many a time up here at Revolver when they make their Iowa stops. And, you know, he helped set this up. So thank you to him. Hell, actually, just the week after the show that we're mainly going to be talking about, I will be seeing him again up there. All right. After the day I had, I brought a beer down with me because, damn it, it was a crazy day. But first thing I'd like to start off with everybody with is what got you started as a fan? And then what got you deciding to make that leap into the business?
All right. So I've been around wrestling my entire life. My parents were really big into wrestling. I've actually seen clips from the old Sportatorium World Class with my parents like in the crowd watching. So growing up, it was always there. There was a little bit of a gap with that when I guess it was more the Attitude Era started. It was kind of like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be letting our young impressionable child watch this. Which I was watching whenever I could, but it wasn't on a weekly basis like it was. I also tape traded when I got a little older, so I got a lot of FMW, All Japan stuff like that, ECW as well. So watching that was always really cool, and so it was kind of always there for me. And I was athletic at the time. I played soccer, so I was always like interested in sports, and so um, I went the backyard route. Like my friends wanted to do it, and so I kind of jumped in with them. Then we started doing it at my house because I had a really big backyard. Um, and then my best friend, at like 16 was like, "Hey, he's 2 years older than me." He was like, I found a place I'm trying to train. And I immediately was like, well, what do you know? What do you how like what can you show me? So it was literally this process of him going to do stuff, then the next day coming to my house and showing me what to do, and then
Mm.
it snowballed. It snowballed so crazily from there.
that that is kind of how it happens sometimes. And I brought it up to a few people. I'm always somewhat jealous of some people when you know their a lot of their family is like in being a fan of wrestling. When it was me growing up, out of my mom's side of things, it was me, my now late uncle, and one or two of my cousins, and that was it.
Right.
And this was during a time
Yeah.
when WCW was really the only consistent thing on. WWE was still during their syndication days, where it's like sometimes you catch it, sometimes you wouldn't, and then you
Right.
never really knew what time. And it was just weird. I remember one time having my cousin call me and like, "Hey, it's on blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Rush over and yeah, I remember those. I remember because that was around the time it kind of waned off with my parents. And the crazy thing is like it stuck off of my dad. My dad pretty much fell off, and he'd watch it like once every blue moon. And including with me, like when I started wrestling, I couldn't get him to do anything. Like I couldn't even go or anything like that. That's changed in like the last like 2 years.
Mm.
That man has not missed a show of mine in the last 2 years, which is awesome.
Oh yeah,
He's usually front row every show now, which is cool.
that's cool. That's an awesome feeling. And before we get into the big show that we got this whole thing set up for, I do like to ask about how people come up with their in-ring personas, because you know that first little bit, I understand, can be a bit of a feeling out process. What's going to work, what isn't, you know.
Oh
And
yeah.
how did you end up coming up with what you do?
So that's for sure for me. Man, let's see. We're in 2024, so 14, 15 years ago now was when I started. Uh, and there were so many different like character changes for me. But I always knew I'm 6'5", bigger guy, so I've kind of got that intimidating aura around me at times, and so I don't know. This is about 6 years ago. We started tweaking it a little bit more. We've done a vampire thing before. A little backstory on that. My best friend, the one that got me into wrestling, he passed away last year
Mm.
suddenly. But we had vampire characters. We were the Lost Boys. We had this whole supernatural vampire thing going on, uh, and so it kind of stemmed from that. Uh, there's also the fact that like I'm a big horror movie buff,
Mm.
and funny enough, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is my favorite series out of pretty much everything. So it kind of stemmed from that, uh, and like the aggression and everything that like a good movie slasher movie. So it kind of stemmed from that. It also helps that I do a lot of deathmatch wrestling. Uh, so with the deathmatch stuff, like the blood war is already there. So that just kind of blends in more.
Mm.
It was kind of a build of everything together, but that was kind of the big way that the whole Texas Chainsaw came along.
I gotcha. Yeah, I've been, slowly getting into some horror movies. Like me, when it comes to horror, I'm more watching the slasher sort of stuff. The stuff with like the demonic possessions and shit. I'm like, no, not doing that,
those
because
those can get a little real.
yeah, well, there's the reason why so many of them have based on a true story on it.
Exactly. I
And
can
I'm
see
like,
that.
fuck no,
Yep,
not doing
not
that.
happening. I can understand that. Yeah, that's I think I'm more big on the slashers. I want to see the new one that's coming out that in a violent nature. If you've seen
Ooh.
anything on it yet,
You know
uh,
what? I don't think I have, but I'm going to be looking out for.
they're saying it's a lot from the killer's point of view, and that the big report that I've seen is there's one kill in the movie that like made somebody throw up in the early screenings. So
Ooh,
I'm excited
ooh,
for it. Actually, I feel like it just came out yesterday in theaters or
okay,
tomorrow in theaters. Uh, like I can't
okay.
remember which. So I may be going to see that soon. Soon.
Yeah, yeah. I might have to keep my eye out on that because I know the only other somewhat horror related movie that, well, at least the series that I watched was those Final Destination movies.
Yeah, yeah, I
Because
enjoyed those.
there were some of the deaths in that were just plain funny.
Yeah, 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 definitely.
Like I forget which one, but this kid was chasing these pigeons at like a dentist office or
Oh
something,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the crane with the painted glass, the birds like spooked and ended up the painted glass that the crane was holding came down and splat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably my favorite death in that whole thing.
I can agree with that. That's a really good one.
Although, yeah, every time I pass by anything that has like logs or even just planks of wood, I'm like,
Yep.
over?
Yep. I'm just gonna move over. I don't want to be anywhere near that.
Oh,
Ain't
yeah.
risking it. Ain't risking it.
Oh, yeah. Not risking that one. So, MPX, they got a big show coming up June 15th, The Purge. The other somewhat scary horror related movie that I love. I have every freaking one of those movies.
Oh yeah.
The
Uh,
and you know, I'm still through the process of talking to people, getting acclimated to shows, promotions putting on different things, and the themed shows like this
right.
got explained to me by Demo Diamond about,
Okay.
it's kind of like the for everybody that will watch this that hasn't already heard, or they are outside of your area. It's kind of reminded me of how Extreme Rules used to be,
Oh
where
yeah.
every match had.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is shaping up to be pretty damn epic. And your opponent that night
Oh yeah.
is somebody that I have met and have sat front row for many a match of theirs, and
Awesome.
hell, even a no ring death match show of
Oh.
theirs. The Carver.
Oh yeah. I am. You have no idea how excited I am for this. I know you brought up Purge. The cool thing about the Purge is I was in the first main event of the first Purge. Um, and like pretty much I feel like I've been a focal point on it, and it may once again go back to the deathmatch style, but I have been the focal point of it. Last year's Purge, I was set on fire. I went through a flaming table last year, and my leg stayed on fire. So these things can get pretty crazy. And not only that, but you're putting me in, as they're saying, an epic death match against the Carver of Cutter's Valley, who I've been waiting for 2 years.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna be an epic one. Like I said, I've been fortunate enough to sit front row at many a matches, and holy crap! Like his aura when he's coming down to the ring, you're like, I'm glad I'm not that other guy.
The funny thing is, I'm glad I am that other guy.
No,
Uh,
and you know what? I can
two,
understand.
yeah, 2 years ago, Mania weekend in Dallas, MPX had set up the match between me and Carver. And card subject to change. It didn't happen. Carver couldn't make it. But I'm asking every promotion around here since. It's like, hey, bring in Carver, give me Carver. Like I need this. And that was from seeing him at Prince of Death matches. was it 2021, I believe.
Okay.
And seeing him like tear through that, I was like, oh man, this is like poetic on how violent it can get. So yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Like yeah, I know you say the whole aura thing. I think that it's on both sides. I think it's gonna
From
be
everything that I've heard about you, yeah, I can see that.
yeah, I appreciate that. Appreciate whoever told you that too. That's always a good thing to hear. Because once I step through the curtain, it's a completely different story. I don't talk like this. I don't have a filter. Voice is 10 times louder. Uh, when we cut promos at MPX, they used to have microphones to place on us. They would have to place mine like at my waist because I would peak the mic because I was so loud. Uh, so it's like it's a whole different thing. It's a whole different ball game when I go out there, and I think Carver knows that. I mean, I've put myself through a lot. I know he's put himself through a lot. Now it's going to see what's going to happen. We're both in the ring for once.
Oh yeah, a match a couple of years in the making, and with the reputation that you guys both have, would lead just about anybody I imagine in the fans there at MPX wondering, holy crap, I know what each of these two can bring individually, but man, putting them in together there one on one, it's gonna be interesting to put it lightly.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. Um, I know a lot of guys around here have grabbed me and been like, "Oh, I looked up the Carver. He looks like exactly like you." I'm like, "Oh, he may look like me, but I think the violence is old there. So we'll see just how crazy it gets."
Oh yeah, hell, I like I said, I've been to a no ring deathmatch show for coincidentally his promotion, Mid Death
Mid
Pro.
death, yeah, I wanted to go up there too.
They had before they went on a little bit of a hiatus. They had a couple shows here in Omaha, and I
Right.
went to the first one, and man, that was nuts. Like I have footage of somewhere on YouTube and on TikTok of this moment where they had they ended up going outside the venue, and
Okay.
there's like they had these like bar stools that they bridged a door on,
Okay.
and then there's like this little ledge up top that the guy went to go jump off of it. But as the guy that was laying on the door rolled off, the door went with him, and the guy
Just
landed
tilted.
concrete.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Gnarly. Oh man.
And oh, go ahead.
I say I know I think it was mid death that it happened at was where Carver got cut open real bad by a
Mm.
light tube. I think it was mid death.
You
Uh
know what? I believe it was because if I remember right, it was the day before a show that he was supposed to be on, that he was going to have a no rope barbed wire match.
yeah.
And I remembered one of my best friends who's in the business. He actually volunteered to be the replacement because
Okay.
he's done all that stuff before. But I'm like, holy crap, why are you
Right.
volunteering for that? But
Yeah.
yeah, I remember hearing from them that something happened with Carver at that show, and when you brought up that, I'm like, that sounds like it was that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So we know how crazy it can get. Hopefully these other people
Oh
realize
yeah,
it too.
oh yeah. Hell, I didn't realize. I've told the story. I actually have it behind the camera here. That my ticket to that show that I went to was actually, I guess, also a entry into a raffle for an event used item signed by everybody.
Okay.
And I didn't realize I won until Carver comes up to me after the show and hands me half a door.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I got a dented in door signed by everybody, and the blood stains are still on.
Oh yeah.
me being the deathmatch fan that I am, I was like, okay. Then I'm like, shit, all right, I'll find some way of displaying that because
we'll put it somewhere.
Oh yeah, no, I got a few ways in mind, but yeah, no, now MPX, I believe it was MPX, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there was, you talking about your experience in, the hardcore deathmatch style.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the names that are made up for some of these matches are just like, okay, that kind of random, but all right.
Right.
But one match that you were in, I believe was you, Red Chambers, Demo Diamond, and Kaimi. Kaimi, I'm trying to pronounce it right, but it was labeled, at least online, as excessive violence.
Oh yeah. So that is my own branding. That has been my thing. It was before so came around. It's actually a stable of guys. But excessive violence is kind of the big thing. I go all out when I go. And the guys that are in it with me, they're pretty much the same. The main members on that was Jason Silver, my tag partner, the one that passed. Wesley Crane, Dmitry Alexandrov, Tommy Dean, and Kai Faden are the big ones in the mat. But yeah, so usually like people like a lot of brands like they want to use it when they can. So those matches usually go all out, all out. I had one time that we put a clear tarp over the canvas so none of the blood would stay in the canvas, but it would be all over the place. And one rope was wrapped in chain and one was in barbed wire. And we've done it before where like that one was like it was just all out. It was that match was all out insanity. That was Homecoming, I think it was. But yeah, that match was insanely violent, and that was Kaimi's first experience with hardcore. I think demos too, actually.
And I just recently, the other day, talked with Kaimi, and like I said, I haven't released it yet, but I have already recorded with Demo Diamond, and yeah, that would be an you know what? I'm gonna have to go look up that damn match, see if there's footage of it somewhere on like YouTube or
I know. I'm almost positive that should be on MPX's YouTube channel, youtube.com/Metroplex Wrestling. Usually the full shows are uploaded there. If the Homecoming shows up there, that was Homecoming.
Okay.
Yeah, that one was a fun one.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done a couple of those. Man, honestly, any match stipulation you can think of that's more hardcore deathmatch, I've probably done by now.
Yeah, I haven't seen too many death matches live, and I'm talking about death matches like you and I know them as, not
right
where some promotions just slap the name death match on there. But the first one I ever got to see was a memorable one because let's just say the way it ended with the 4 folding chairs of painted glass, and then one of the guy's managers came in with a thing of lighter fluid, and they lit the glass on fire at Revolver, and it was Jake Chris versus Joel Bateman.
Oh yeah, Joel's really cool, man. I really like watching Joel's stuff.
Oh yeah, I got a picture with him after the match, and he's still all bloody and stuff.
Yeah, so he just wrestled Dmitry Alexandrov, like I said, on excessive violence. They just had a match down in Wrestle Rave.
Oh yeah, they did, didn't they? Yeah. Former guest of mine, Dmitry Alexandrov. That's
my boy.
That was a fun one. But
that's
yeah.
Pretty much
and I don't know if these were technically death matches, but I've been lucky enough before they split, got to see the Second Gear Crew live twice.
Okay.
Both times at Revolver. both times Matthew Justice was jumping off a scaffold,
Yeah.
and the second time it was like, I guess the way you could describe it, it was like war games without the cage.
Yeah. Yeah.
They would come in intervals like war games, and everybody would bring in their signature weapon.
Right.
Matthew Justice had them wheel in the scaffolding, and it was just nuts.
Right. Speaking of signature weapons, have you seen mine?
Hmm?
Have you seen my signature weapon?
I don't know if I have.
I had one for a while. It's a like an inch and a half, 2 inch thick paddle with gusset plates on either side. That's the old one. I still have that one. I don't break her out very much anymore because I got a new one that's more on brand for me. I have two baseball bats that are lined with chainsaw chain, like a mace. 6 to 8 strips of chainsaw blades going down the sides. Those are my babies now. That's the ones I bring out. I have Lefty, named after Lefty, the officer from Texas Chainsaw 2. And I have Sally, which is named for Sally Hardesty from Texas Chainsaw 1.
Gotcha. All right. That's some good stuff, because I know I've had Madman Pondo on, and he has that baseball bat with a saw blade on it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really cool to see too. That's that's one of my favorite things about deathmatch wrestling is seeing some of the kind of unique stuff that we come up with. And I know you were like, I don't know if this is deathmatch or not. There's like this weird line that like, oh, this match was hardcore, but this match was deathmatch, and it usually is like
I don't know if you're, not to interrupt you, but something going wacky with the audio.
Yeah, here too. Let me see.
It happens.
Let me see. Does that
There
work
we go.
better?
Yeah,
There we go. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, hell, it happens. But you were saying
I was
about
saying
the
like
weapons and the.
it's crazy how yeah it's cool to see how weapons like one they're so unique in deathmatch. You know,
Mm.
Marcus Crane had that riot shield that he would put light tubes on. Casanova Valentine's got a couple of adult toys that have nails going through it. They so unique. And I think that's kind of the line that's kind of towing the line of that hardcore versus deathmatch.
Mm.
Hardcore just normal stuff, right? Tables, chairs,
Yeah.
ladders, kendo stick, whatever. But then you go into like thumbtacks and barbed wire stuff and panes of glass. That's where you start getting to that deathmatch. Gusset plates for sure.
No, yeah.
That's one of my gussets are one of my favorites. Uh, Syringes, I've done those too. Light tubes, stuff like that. That's where you go into the crazy deathmatch stuff. Uh,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Totally.
and fingers crossed that light tubes are a thing on the purge. I haven't got clearance yet. We'll see.
That show for mid death that I went to, let's just say, thankful I wore closed-toed shoes, because the metal connector end of the light tube, after it hit somebody, flew off and hit me in the foot.
Jeez. Uh, with the first deathmatch tournament in Texas, the first Texas Deathmatch Massacre, there was a girl in like the main event. Light tube shattered, flew out, and got caught in her eye. So
Oh,
yeah,
gee.
yeah, that stuff can definitely happen.
All right. So before we move on, the Purge coming up, big event, big match with Carver. What are some of your predictions you might have for the Purge? Not just your match, but some of the things you're looking forward to with that event.
So one, I love seeing these events because, especially when it's people that come in, like, oh, it's our first time. Man, you picked a weird time to be the first time, but it's going to be a blast.
I know, right?
It's still going to be a blast. I can promise you that. So seeing the people there is going to be a big thing for me. Um, there's a double tables match now between Aaron Eagle and Caleb Riley and the Scorn for the tag belts.
Ooh,
Uh,
that's
that
gonna be
that
good.
that looks like it's going to be a good one. Kari Wright versus JoJo in a dumpster match now.
Ooh.
Um, that'll be interesting. I'm curious on how that one's going to go. I'm also looking forward to the triple threat with Erica Torres, Dylan Cavens, and Maxi Impaler.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that's gonna be a good one.
that's and once again, like none of these have rules, so Max with no rules is Max is already scary, but Max has no rules is real up there. Uh,
Yeah, but right along with the Carver in a lot of aspects.
oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
you put Max and Taylor in there with no rules. Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot going on. And I think there's stuff that we haven't even like announced that I don't even know about that like that usually happens at the Purge where some kind of crazy thing happens and here's another match. So
I mean, kind of like the old school ECW where like they'd only announce like a handful of matches, but
right.
then one segment would happen and then oh, here's another match.
Yeah, and then like the crazy thing is when those matches end up becoming like the best match on the card that no one had an idea about. I always love it when it's like that because then, you have more of an incentive to go because if you don't, you miss it.
Oh, totally. Because I know I am going to be attempting to watch it live, but my wife, I think that is the night that she got tickets to a concert. So I'll
Yeah.
probably be there, but you can rest assured once that thing's up on YouTube, if I'm not watching it live, I'm catching that damn show.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Hopefully everybody's the same way. If you're not there, you're
No,
not watching it live, you were catching it as soon as you can.
so that is one I'm not missing. Now I have two categories here. I got first one, bit of a name game where I name off some people and you give me some quick thoughts on them.
Okay.
And I try to theme it towards the guest as much as possible. And, each of these guys is either big in deathmatch
Okay.
or they have kind of that same aura as like, the spooky,
I gotcha.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
All right. So first one that, everybody misses right now, Bray Wyatt.
Bray. Oh man, I love Bray. I have been a Bray fan since the whole character started. The Husky Harris was kind of big on too, but not to the point I was with Bray because he embodies a lot of the stuff that I do and like the storytelling and the subtle hints that you have to really pick up on and like the QR code stuff was insane this last run. I know a lot of people like tore up the match with him and Orton where like the ring like it did the thing above the ring and you
It
could see like the
looks like
worms.
worms. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was really cool psychological warfare. I could spout praise about Bray Wyatt for the next like 2 hours. That man was phenomenal and yeah, 100%. 100% great.
Oh yeah, no, especially the last run of his, I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting.
Oh yeah.
And then, I actually unknowingly recorded an episode with one of his good friends in
Okay.
former Ring of Honor 6-man tag champ Dutch. And I didn't realize it until I had posted. It was either I released the episode or I was, posting about having recorded with him. I forget which one right now. But I'm literally on my way home from work and all of a sudden I get this alert and Twitter. I'm like, what? I didn't recognize the
Right.
picture. And like, okay, this is weird. So like at a stoplight, I'm like, okay, holy shit. Bray Wyatt liked the damn post. And I'm like,
Oh,
uh
oh man,
and
what
then
do I do?
I literally got a hold of Dutch again. I'm like, are you friends with Bray Wyatt? And then he told me, I'm like, that explains
I mean, that explains a lot.
it. Yeah. But yeah, no, the just thinking, yeah, he just liked it, but it's like, you know what? He didn't have to do anything.
Oh yeah, 100%.
He could have just passed it by, like, oh, cool, my friend did something. But yeah, no, that one meant a lot to me. And then, him being so close, like I'm 40, about to turn 41, and he was just about as close to my age as anybody I've, not known personally.
Right.
But, when word came out that he passed, like I had to go look like on their official social media stuff because
Yeah.
I'm like, no way. This is one
Yeah,
of
I
those
was the
death
same way.
notes.
Yeah, definitely the same way on that. I immediately was like, hold on, this hoax. This has got to be a hoax. Hold on. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was I totally get that. Yeah, that one shook a lot of us.
Oh, yeah. And second here, somebody that, kind of passed the torch to Bray Wyatt, The Undertaker.
Man, that was Taker was a big one for me growing up. Ministry of Darkness stuff was really cool to me when I was a kid. Um, and I always had that mentality of, oh, it's a big guy. I'm a big guy. I was always a big kid. Tall wise, like I was always a real tall kid. So, uh, watching Taker was always an influence on me as well. And we talked about a little bit about the whole like character thing. I think a lot of it comes from that too, like Bray and Taker. Uh, Seeing them do it and do it right has always been there for me. So I think that's another one I could sit here and talk about for a few.
Oh, yeah. Then Undertaker was one of those guys that, you know, people say, to have a bit of longevity in the business, being able to adapt and, all that. And Undertaker is one of those examples, much like Bray Wyatt, but, a little bit shorter of a time span for him. But, all the evolutions and iterations that the Undertaker did, gave those little bumps in longevity that, he knew right when he had to change this or that. And it all
Right.
just made sense.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
All right. Next one, big and, hardcore deathmatch style also. And you know what? He has led some of the most memorable factions in wrestling. Raven.
That's an interesting one for me. I love Raven stuff. I've always been a uh I've always been big into character, and Raven's character work has been phenomenal. Uh, I've had one interaction with him personally. It didn't go the way I expected it to. I was
Mm.
a younger kid though, but uh, outside of that, man, great wrestler, great character. Like could tell a story with whoever he was in there with. Like my favorite, I still think it's funny because it's not even ECW. My favorite story that he told was him and Punk. Um,
Oh, Ring of Honor.
yeah, like Ring of Honor stuff. That was like peak uh Raven. I don't know, so far, like I can't think of anything else that tops that for me. Uh,
No?
it's just that story and the push and the character work done was just like so on point. Uh, I don't know.
No, I totally get it. And, I've actually recently had the pleasure of recording with somebody that has been able to work in MLW, Akira.
Yeah,
And
I love that guy.
It was interesting. Oh yeah, no, nothing but respect for Akira. And it was interesting hearing, he mentioned it being a bit of a full circle moment for him, watching him and then all that. And definitely. And, getting to watch some of the stuff with the both of them in MLW, including, one of the last War Chamber matches.
Yeah.
That was insane, and I loved every minute of it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right. Last two, and they both show. Both, two of the biggest active names in deathmatch out there right now.
Okay.
I've been able to see both, coincidentally, against Second Gear Crew, Alex Colon.
So I met Alex that first Texas Deathmatch weekend. Super cool guy. I really liked him. I want to wrestle him really badly. Seeing Alex in the ring's been really cool. Talking with him that weekend was really cool, and I think it kind of just solidified that, like, I think he's one of the best out there, and only gets better. I don't know, like I said, like I watched him and Remedy. I don't know if you've seen Remedy, a guy from the Houston area. Me and Remedy used to tag at one point. This guy's like 6'7", like 300 and something pounds, just a monster. And they had a bare boards match, and like halfway through it, like Remedy just comes up through the bottom, like from under the ring. It was like this insane moment. But to see Alex, like, one, go through that, and two, persevere through it, I was like, man, I gotta get in the ring with this guy sometime.
Oh yeah, one of my absolute favorites, and one of the first really big names that I had on. And it was, I was like, I just remember thinking, oh, this is gonna be a long shot, but
Right.
Let's see.
Right. You never know.
Oh yeah, and hell, after we recorded, he was talking about, selling off his old kick pads, investing in some new ones. I was like, how much do you want? Make me an offer. So now I have signed ring-worn kick pads of his.
That's so cool.
I actually already have it in mind how I want to display them. I have found a picture of him in a match about to do like a double knee through a pane of glass onto a guy wearing them. So I'm like, that in there with them. Oh yeah, already.
Oh, that's perfect.
It's just a matter of buying the damn thing to put them in now.
Right.
Now, last but not least, this guy, I laugh about it because it literally took a little over a year to actually be able to get this episode recorded. But I actually have a little something from him right here.
John man. Good old John Wayne Murdoch. Man, where do I start on that? Murdoch, I have not got to be in the ring with yet. It's almost happened twice. And something just fell through both times. He knows I want the match. I'm pretty sure he wants the match. But we met in person finally back in October for Uncanny Attractions. We did a double shot together. It was Uncanny Attractions, and this night was Baracho Pro. And the whole time I'm sitting there, Murdoch, when's this going to happen? When's this going to happen? When are you going to get in the ring with me? He's like, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So now I feel like it's just a matter of time until it happens. Like I said, I know what I want it, and I'm pretty sure he wants it too. So fingers crossed at some point.
Oh yeah, the guy is a damn machine with the schedule.
Oh, you're not joking, man.
Yeah, and like I said, it took a little over a year. His schedule, some stuff happening with me personally, and he was more than supportive with it. And then we finally got it done, and I'm like, notch off the bucket list.
Finally.
There's literally, off of my deathmatch Mount Rushmore, there is literally only 2 people left that I have not talked to for this show.
Okay.
And you know what? One might be a little more likely because Matt Tremont.
Oh,
His promotion, H2O, has been incredibly good to me. Right. I love those guys. I've lost count of how many people for that promotion that I've had on this show.
Okay.
And there's been at least 1 or 2 months where it seems like the majority of the episodes I had for that month were from there. And man, to be able to get him on, that would be epic.
Good luck.
Yeah, no.
I get it. When Deathmatch Massacre 2 happened, I wrestled Sawyer Wreck. And I love Soy. Soy is one of my favorite people. But Sawyer told me to get a hold of Tremont and get up to H2O as soon as possible. I contacted him. We started talking a little bit, and then it was like off the face of the earth. So for by any chance, Tremont says, hit me up, Tremont. Come on, man.
Hey,
I'm gonna go up there and do this deathmatch stuff, man.
He pays attention to my show, so
fingers crossed.
We'll see what we can do to make that happen. But the only other one besides him that I haven't talked to, that this one would be a bit of a reach. But I've been wanting to go to a show that he's been on for the longest time, Nick Gage.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Nick would be a cool one to hear from a little bit. I've had friends work shows. Dimitri's the big one on that. So like hearing his stories about it, man. I think as much as a reach, I don't know if it'd be too much of a reach to get a hold of him and get him in there. That'd be kind of cool to see.
It would be. And you know, I just love it with shows that he's on, especially GCW, because it's like once that first boom hits, it's like that whole venue turns into a giant fucking mosh pit.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I just every time I see it, I'm like, God damn it, I want to be there.
Yeah, I want to be in the middle of that, jumping around.
Like, I don't care where the hell in the venue I am. I could be against the wall in the back for all I care. I just want to be there.
You want to be there. You want to experience that energy. I totally understand that.
Oh, totally. All right. So now on to some random questions.
Okay.
Some wrestling related, some not. Some might have absolutely nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far.
Sure.
Why they're random. So I give you the question, first answer that pops in your head. And the first one I have here, you know, with the hardcore deathmatch style, I can imagine there'll be a lot to choose from. Craziest in-match moment for you?
Okay, so the first one to come to mind is the fire spot from last year. Going through a flaming table and your leg not going out, so that they fire extinguish you. That one ranks up there pretty high.
That
personally, like from a personal standpoint, back in February of 2020, wrestling Tommy Dreamer was kind of a crazy moment for me. And pinning Tommy Dreamer made it even bigger, you know. That goes up there. I guess the only other one I can think of off the top of my head, during a festival we were wrestling at, get a guy in the corner and I'm biting his forehead, and I pull away and my entire face is just covered in blood. He wasn't bleeding beforehand, he was bleeding after the fact. But I'm covered in blood, like my face, my hands, and I turn to the crowd and I yell, and then I notice a girl in the front row just turn and throw up beside her boyfriend. And
awesome.
So to be the reaction of, oh my God, this is that gross, I was like, okay, cool. That was crazy. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess that's my top three. Yeah.
that would be hard to beat either of those. I know for me, witnessed my fair share of crazy stuff. You know, literally all I got to do for a couple of them is just say three letters, SGC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've
Yeah.
literally choked with them that their matches might as well be sponsored by Home Depot.
Oh yeah.
And it's just craziness. And then, that first ever death match that I witnessed. And you know what? Another one at Revolver was actually the match they had between Paul Walterhauser and Matt Cardona.
And Cardona,
Bully Ray comes out and helps Paul put Matt through a flaming table.
Oh yeah.
My friend and I were third row for that. You can literally feel the heat from the fire.
Yeah, you definitely can.
Oh yeah. Now, I like to ask anybody that I have on that has been, more hardcore deathmatch style, what is a weapon you would like to avoid being used in a match if you had the choice?
Carpet strips.
Oh God, yeah, those are a bitch.
Like they're ridiculous. And my thing is it's not even the fact that like they hurt as bad as it's the fact that they hurt as bad as they do, and you don't get any kind of visual from them.
Yeah.
And I'm not the only one that has that viewpoint on them. But man, and I'm glad I haven't really seen them lately, to be honest. But yeah, carpet strips are number one. Like I don't care for them at all.
Oh yeah, I could totally understand that. I know when we were doing some remodeling on our house here and taking out some old carpet, there'd be times where I'd accidentally come into contact with one of those, and yeah, those are a bitch.
Yeah.
But the one that somewhat surprised me that there's been a couple people that have brought this one up. One of them being Alex Colon. He mentioned toothpicks.
Okay, I can see that.
Because he was like, you know what, you might get lucky and you get the whole thing out, but you break off the wrong piece and then it's stuck in there getting infected and shit.
Yep. I've had that happen with skewers actually in my head. I pulled a chunk of a skewer out like a month and a half later. So like, and a skewer's a bigger piece. So like, just thinking about a smaller toothpick, yeah, I can see that. I can definitely understand that one.
All right. Now, I know wrestling can take up a lot of time.
Oh yeah.
What is a hobby you have, if any?
So outside of wrestling, I do stream. I do play video games a bunch. So I do stream on Twitch, just twitch.tv/SkyDeLacrimosa. And I play all kinds of stuff on there. Right now, my big thing's Minecraft again. Had a couple buddies jump back in, so we've been playing it. But that's the big one. I write from time to time, paint. I'm very big into the arts for the most part.
Gotcha. Yeah, like me, video games. Yeah, I'm not like a hardcore gamer. I haven't really gotten into the streaming side of things. I do have a Xbox Series S, and I've been getting into a lot of the Resident Evil games.
Yeah,
heavy into Resident Evil 4 right now. I'm trying to see how far in the achievements I can get, because there's not too many. Hell, there's really only one other game that I've actually 100%ed, and that's actually the newest Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
Took me a while, but I got it done.
It'll take you a little bit, but oh man, yeah. I'm big into fighters. I still haven't played the new Mortal Kombat. I played a ton of 11. I play a ton of Tekken. But fighters and then like RPGs are my big thing.
And there's people more into them than me. I know I've been huge into some of the newer Assassin's Creed games, and those, from what everybody tells me, have had more, you know, RPG
Oh
elements.
yeah.
So I've enjoyed those. I'm really looking forward to the newest one that's going to be coming out where they're in Japan.
Yeah, Shadows? Is it Shadows?
Yes,
Yeah.
Shadows. But then my other big thing, wrestling and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff.
Okay. Okay. I was big into Pops for a big while. Uh not
Oh
the
yeah,
not the wrestling
I
figures, but like I had Pops, I have a ton of those.
oh yeah, I wrestling figures. Yeah, I got my big thing that I like to do is if they're still alive, I like keeping them in the box. So
Right.
in that case, I get to meet them. I can get it signed. Like hell, I've got Matt Cardona. This whole top shelf here is nothing but signed figures of
Right.
people like Kushida, Drew McIntyre, uh, Head Shrinker Fatu,
That's awesome.
and I've even, speaking of the Ninja Turtle stuff, I got a fair number of the Funkos, and I've even got two of them signed. One by the guy that voiced Michelangelo in the original cartoon,
Okay.
and the guy behind Splinter in the first two movies.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the only other famous sign, well, I got two. I got a guy that used to be the editor in chief at Marvel. I got a Captain America one signed by him, and then a couple of months before his unfortunate suicide, I actually met Jason David Frank and got a Green
Okay.
Ranger one signed by him.
Awesome.
All
That
of
is
those
always
signed
cool.
ones are in hard
Yep.
plastic containers.
Super safe. Don't have to worry about them.
Oh,
Anything can happen to them. I feel you.
oh yeah. Now, okay. Everybody has a favorite of this, favorite food.
Favorite food. So, probably ramen, like a good ramen, not just like your
No,
instant
like
ramen.
like the fancy
I'm
stuff you
going to a
see.
ramen house. Yeah, 100%. Ramen, pho, stuff like that for sure. Like I could do that every day.
Okay, I got nothing against that. It's been a while since I've had a good like that type of ramen, but my wife gives me shit about one of mine because anytime we go to Italian restaurant, she's like, "You don't even need the damn menu." I'm like, "Yeah, but I like to look."
Right.
But lasagna,
Okay.
like you put a good lasagna in front of me and like full on Homer Simpson.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I don't know. My one complaint about a lasagna is the if it's too tomato heavy. If it's too sauce heavy, I can't do
Uh,
it. But if we're more cheese
no,
heavy,
I
we're
can
good.
get that.
Yeah,
No,
if we're
yeah.
more cheese
No,
heavy, I'm fine.
gotta love a good cheese heavy one. Oh, those
Yeah.
are delicious. All right. So with the name of a show like I have, I would feel weird if I didn't have this question. Favorite drink, whether it be alcohol or none or both, because I like to tell people just because it says drinking at Moe's doesn't mean that it has to be alcoholic. Although more often than not, when you see me drinking one in the show, it's more than likely an alcohol.
Right. So alcohol, it's whiskey. I drink my whiskey neat.
Okay.
Um, I drink it either neat or on the rocks, but on the rocks mostly. Now that I think about it, but overall drinks, I'm really partial to like sweet tea, like good
Mm,
Southern style sweet tea.
mm,
Uh, that's probably my big one. The couple times I've went up north and asked for tea and then got unsweet tea was
uh, yeah. No.
I
Yeah.
was
No.
like,
That's
I need to go back to Texas. Hold on, guys.
yeah. No. I can totally understand that. Most of my first year in the Navy was actually down south in Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, that
Okay.
area. And god dang, I got spoiled on that down there.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I totally get it. A good sweet tea, oh, any damn day. And I am a bit of a Dr. Pepper fiend. I will admit that.
I got burnt out on it, man. It's weird to say, but like at my parents' house, my dad's house, that's all there is Dr. Pepper. So I got burnt out real fast. He somehow hasn't. It's been 20, 30 years of straight 2 to 3 cases of Dr. Pepper like in a week, but that's him. I can't do it.
I used to drink that much of it, but yeah, I've been cutting back little by little.
Right.
But my wife tries to tell me, you got a problem. I'm like, as long as I got some, I ain't got a damn problem.
Right? There's no issue there.
All right. Now, last but not least here, best advice you have for anybody wanting to get into wrestling.
One, just do it. Like I know it's kind of a simple one, but like it's because I mean I wanted to for the longest time and I didn't look up anything or anything like that. And turns out there was so much around me. And I hear so many guys nowadays like, I had no idea this was here. And it's like, yeah, well, how do you think the guys in WWE get there? They have to go from a lower level. So one, just do it, and two, be passionate about it. If you have the passion for it, do it. The biggest thing that I like to tell people is I care about this. This is what I love. I'm gonna do everything I can for what I love. So just be passionate and do it. That's the big advice I have.
Oh yeah. I hear so often, people talking about just go and do it because, for the longest time they kind of talk themselves out of it. And then they finally get into it and they like, damn it, why did I wait so damn long?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Coming in at like 30 and been like, man, I could have been doing this 12 years ago. Like,
imagine the stuff I could have done if I came in back then.
oh yeah.
Oh, totally. Well, before we go, where can people find you social media wise so if they don't already have their eyes on you, they can go ahead and get them there?
Cool thing is everything's almost exactly the same. Facebook is facebook.com/SkyDeLacrimosa1. Everything else is SkyDeLacrimosa. So Instagram, X, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube. I have stuff on YouTube as well. Everything is just under SkyDeLacrimosa. That's SkyDeLacrimosa.
Yeah. I got it written down here on my notes. So I was like, okay, I got to make sure I'm pronouncing this right. We will get all of that in the description. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me tonight. Best of luck out there June 15th at the Purge against the Carver. Anybody that watches this, be sure you get on the MPX Twitch channel so you can watch it live. And then you know what? If you're unfortunate enough, like I'm probably going to be, make sure you pay attention to the MPX YouTube because they will be having it there as well. Thank you again. Best of luck. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Pleasure's all mine. That was a lot of fun. I appreciate it.